Greetings Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous, Wings of Ineptitude, the series in which my friends and I attempt to gain access to Earth while not sucking terribly in the process. I hope you've all enjoyed the seasonal festivities and that Father Christmas brought you all that you wished for, though you do know he's not actually real, right? You know it's really your parents, stroke loved ones. Okay, just checking. Didn't want to drop any spoilers. Anyway, no doubt you've overstuffed yourselves with food during the Christmas period. I know I certainly have. But back to this episode. Due to real life priorities, Captain Zork couldn't join me this week for my promotion mission with the Federal Navy. So instead of hearing the banter between the two of us, you'll instead hear me prattle on during the course of this episode while you watch me progress through said promotion mission. First of all, however, an apology. As you are no doubt aware, I was unable to provide a Wings of Ineptitude episode last week due to technical issues I was suffering with Horizions, the Elite Dangerous expansion. The problem pretty much boiled down to huge drops in frame rate, both close to and away from planets, and the impact it was having on my video capture. Unlike the more popular YouTubers out there, my system is not a monster PC build, and I do not have the financial resources upon which to easily fall back on in order to upgrade my machine. That being said, the quality of gameplay for me before the expansion's release was not too bad, and I was able to have a decent looking game without hurting the frame rate, even when recording for the series. However, that all changed with the arrival of Horizions. The fact that the planets were now being procedurally generated meant that my frame rate plummeted, even when not recording for the series. Suffice to say that I looked at everything that I could think of, installing the latest graphics drivers, dropping the detail settings and so on, but the problem persisted. After searching the internet, I noticed that I was not the only one to be suffering with this problem, and it had apparently been an issue for some people during the beta testing. Fortunately, I found a thread on the Frontier forums by one of the Elite Dangerous programmers that seemed to offer a remedy. A link to that thread can be found in the video description. The solution involved editing the graphics configuration.xml file, more specifically the planet subsection within that file, and, once a backup copy had been made, altering the texture size and work per frame parameters. After changing the values to 256 for texture size and 160 for work per frame for each preset graphic settings, I saved the file and restarted the game, and hey presto, it seems to have done the job, at least in part. You see, getting the game to run at a decent frame rate was only half the battle, but I also had to be able to record it as well, otherwise there would be no Wings of Ineptitude series. Yeah, I can hear the insincerity on your cries of anguish, you know. Anyway, up to this point I have been using fraps to capture video footage. It had never been an issue before, whereas Shadowplay on the other hand had produced huge screen tearing and pixelation in the recordings, making it unwatchable. However, with the expansion, fraps was simply putting too much of a demand on system resources, and the frame rate would once again plummet, even when in deep space. It even cost me a mission and 400,000 credits in insurance due to the loss of frame rate impacting on the combat. Something had to be done, and then I had a thought. I've just updated the graphics driver. I wonder if Shadowplay had been updated as well. So I gave it a try, and you know what? It had. After a stress test involving undocking, interdicting a wanted NPC and getting into combat, followed by docking at a busy station, I'm pleased to say that there were no issues with the quality of recording, and more importantly, no discernible loss in frame rate, even when flying over planets. Huzzah! As a result, the video you are now watching was recorded using Shadowplay instead of fraps. So, all sorted. Now I'm able to try out Horizions properly, what do I think of it? Well, I have to admit, from the little I've played so far, I do enjoy the extra freedom that it provides. The ability to get out of your ship and roam around a planet's surface. And what do I think of the new ships in the game? Well, to be honest, the only ship that I've looked at in detail was the Viper Mk4, and only briefly skimmed the stats of the Mark IV version of the Cobra. Okay then, what do I think of the Viper Mk4? Nah. The problem I have with the Viper Mk4 is that, as a fighter, which is what it's supposed to be, it sucks. It's ridiculously heavy, its hull mass being 10 tons heavier than the Cobra Mk3, and is as manoeuvrable as a three-legged cow. These are not qualities you expect nor desire in what is supposed to be a fighter. If, however, you view it as a multi-purpose ship, with an eye to being a competitor to the Cobra Mk3, then the stats start to make more sense. When comparing their stock values, i.e. the state in which you buy the ships prior to any upgrades, the base top speed of the Viper Mk4 is 271, only 11 slower than the Cobra, which when you consider that its hull mass is 10 tons heavier, makes sense. The boost speed, however, is considerably less, 342 compared with the Cobra's stock 402. It has fractionally less FSD range, both laden and unladen compared to the Cobra, but the stock cargo and fuel capacity is the same. The Viper Mk4 has superior armour and shields over the Cobra, 103 and 270 respectively, over the Cobra's 92 and 216. It has the same hardpoints as the Cobra, with the weapon points being in the same configuration and setup as its little brother, the Viper Mk3. The Viper Mk4 also has the same number of internal slots as the Cobra Mk3, albeit in a slightly different configuration. One size 1, 2 size 2s, a size 3 and 2 size 4 slots, compared to the Cobra's 3 size 2 and 3 size 4 slots. However, the biggest difference is in the manoeuvrability, rating 4 compared to the Cobra's rating 6. Now, bear in mind that all of these are stock values, and you can of course choose to upgrade the various components in order to improve the Viper Mk4's performance. In fact, I would definitely recommend upgrading the thrusters to improve speed and manoeuvrability. But the simple fact is that even if you upgrade it with the best components, it is never going to beat the Cobra in terms of versatility and performance. Yes, you can definitely up the Viper's manoeuvre rating from 4 with upgrades, but the Cobra starts with 6. Even fully equipped with the best systems, the Viper Mk4 will never outmaneuver the Cobra Mk3. It costs more to buy than the Cobra, and its stock insurance is higher, though I think that once fully upgraded, the Cobra insurance is between 50 to 100k higher than the Viper, simply due to the internal slot differences. At least that was the case when I worked on them. But that's not really going to be an issue, due to the fact that the Cobra will be able to get itself out of trouble far easier than the Viper, and so is less likely to be destroyed when controlled by equally skilled pilots. However, visually wise, the Viper Mk4 is a treat. Those veined spoiler things at the back look fantastic. Aesthetically, it's a fine looking ship, no doubt about it, but is it worth the deficiencies in performance? Well, in my view, and I must stress that it is just my view, there will no doubt be others that disagree, I have to say no. Unless the Viper Mk4 receives some love in the future and has its specs buffed, I will be sticking with my trusty Cobra Mk3 for the time being. Now, with regards to the Cobra Mk4, and judging by the stock specs, I can see that it will suffer with the same issues, but with its deficiencies more pronounced. Yes, there are certain facets of the Cobra Mk4 that are an improvement over the Mk3, but based on what I'm seeing specs wise, in my view, as a multi-purpose vessel there are more disadvantages than advantages. To my mind, and this is based on specifications and not experience, the Cobra Mk4 seems to suggest itself more as a freighter role. The 4 size 4 slots definitely allow for some huge cargo space, and that's not even taking into consideration the other size slots that are available on the ship. But here's the thing. If you're serious about going into trading, then for an extra 300k you can buy the Laken Type 6 transporter, which can carry much more cargo for only a slight drop in manoeuvrability. Any trader worth their salt will already know the best trade routes for them, and can make up that extra 300k easily. So I really don't know what to think about the Cobra Mk4. I definitely won't be buying one anytime soon, as it doesn't suit my playstyle. But I suppose that's the key thing to remember in the end. While neither of the ships I looked at suit me personally, that doesn't go to say that the same applies to everyone else. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me this week. I hope this episode has at the very least been informative and helpful, even if you have had to listen to me prattle on all the time. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Well, not actually see you, because I don't have the ability to hack into your webcams to look at you. Not that I would, of course, but you know what? The more I try to explain myself, the bigger the hole I'm going to dig. So I'll just say, take care, enjoy the remainder of the festivities, and I hope you will join me in the next episode. I'll leave you to watch my first recorded planetfall mission in Horizions, followed by my mucking about on the planet surface in an SRV, all to the music that I use in the title sequence, Journey of the Sorcerer by the Eagles, more famously known as the theme tune for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. TTFN,